Hello, dear children. Let us continue the remaining part of your history, chapter number 7. Name of the topic: Tribes, Nomads, and Settled Communities. Let us see page number 96, boys, in our discussion of the first part of the chapter. We have discussed here up to the first paragraph of this page number 96. So now let us see the remaining part of the chapter, changing society, new castes and hierarchies. So society is changing, that means it is focused on new castes and hierarchies, boys. As the economy and the needs of society grew, people with new skills were required. So as the economy and the needs of society grew, here people with new skills were required. Smaller castes or jatis emerged within varnas. Okay, and that at that moment, what upon smaller castes or jatis, they become visible with burners, with that different burners, say, of Hindus, say Hindu. In Hindu, we have these four burners, okay, or castes, which are known as Brahman, Shudra, Kshatriya, Vaishya, like that, okay. For example, new castes appeared amongst the Brahmanas. Okay, as example, new caste, it appeared among the Brahmanas, okay, Brahmanas community. On the other hand, many tribes and social groups were taken into caste-based society and given the status of jatis. Okay, on the other hand, many tribes and social groups, they were taken into what? Into caste-based societies. Okay, the society which is based on caste and given the status of jatis. Jatis means a caste or subcaste. Specialized artisans, smiths, carpenters, and masons were also recognized as separate jatis by the Brahmanas. So here specialized artisans such as smiths, okay, goldsmiths, okay, or ironsmiths, like that, carpenters and masons, okay, carpenter who used to work, that means to make furniture, like that, okay, and then masons means a person who's skilled in cutting, dressing and laying stone buildings, like that, okay. We are also recognized as separate jatis by the Brahmanas. They are recognized as different jatis by the Brahmanas. Jatis rather than Varna became the basis for organizing society. So jatis here rather than Varna, they became the basis for organizing society. Now hereafter you see deliberations on jati. You just get through this one, okay, boys. Among the Kshatriyas, what I have already told you earlier, that Brahman, Shudra and Kshatriya, Vaishyas, okay, Brahman, Shudra, Kshatriya and Vaishyas. So among the Kshatriyas, new Rajput clans became powerful by the 11th and 12th centuries. So among those Kshatriyas, the new Rajput clans, the new Rajput groups, they became powerful by the 11th and 12th centuries. They belong to different lineages. Lineages, boys, means direct descent from an ancestor, such as Hunas, Chandalas, Chalukyas and others. Some of these too had been tribes earlier. Okay, some of them, these are two had been tribes in earlier days. Many of these clans came to be regarded as Rajputs. So many of these clans or groups, they came to be regarded as Rajputs. They gradually replaced the older rulers. Okay, in place of that older ruler or they take place. Okay, the older rulers' place, especially in agricultural areas. Here, a developed society was emerging, and rulers used their wealth to create powerful states. So here, a developed society it was emerging, okay, in which and rulers used their wealth in order to create powerful states. The rise of Rajput clans to the position of rulers set an example for the tribal people to follow. So, the rise of these Rajput communities or group, Rajput groups to the position of rulers set an example for the tribal people to follow. Gradually, with the support of the Brahmanas, many tribes became part of the caste system. So slowly what happened with the support of Brahmanas, many tribal, they became parts of the caste system. But only the leading tribal families could join the ruling class. But here boys, only the leading tribal families, they could join the ruling class. A large majority joined the lower jatis of caste society. So a large majority they joined the lower jatis of caste society. On the other hand, many dominant tribes of Punjab, Sindh and northwest frontier had adopted Islam quite early. By the way, you see on the other hand, many dominant tribes, okay, having dominant tribes means having power, okay, tribes of Punjab or powerful tribes of Punjab, Sindh and the northwest frontier, they had adopted Islam quite early. They have adopted this, say Islam means Muslim communities, their religious faith and belief. They continue to reject the caste system. Okay, so they didn't allow, they continued to reject the caste system. The unequal social order prescribed by Orthodox Hinduism was not widely accepted in these areas. So the unequal social order which were prescribed by Orthodox. Orthodox means generally accepted rules or beliefs, okay, of a religion, that is Hinduism, okay, was not widely accepted in these areas. People of that areas, they didn't accept it, okay, this Hinduism. The emergence of states is closely related to social change amongst tribal people. So boys, the visible of states, boys, is closely, it is related to social change amongst those tribal people. Two examples of this important part of our history are described below. So two examples of this, okay, which are important part of our history, they are described here as under. A closer look, let us see this. The Gonds. The Gonds lived in a vast forested region called Gondwana, or country inhabited by Gonds. Okay, Gonds, you see, the Gonds, they used to live in a vast forested region which is known as Gondwana, or country which is inhabited by Gonds. Gonds, it is a community of people, okay. They practice shifting cultivation, Okay, shifting definition of case. What is shifting cultivation? You see here, you can, that means uh, see here on the right. But the shifting cultivation you have learned in geography also, but the large Gond tribe was further divided into many smaller clans. So they practice shifting cultivation here. Shifting cultivation, it is a form of agriculture in which people, those who are living that means in the forest area, they used to cut down trees. They used to cut it fire. After cleaning the forest, they used to grow crops. Okay, which is known as pamlo here in our local language in Manipur voice. So the large Gond tribe was further divided into many smaller clans. So this Gond tribe, they were again further divided into many smaller groups. Okay, each clan had its own Raja or Rai. Okay, they have their own ruler. Okay, king like that. About the time that the power of the Delhi Sultans was declining, a few large Gond kingdoms were beginning to dominate the smaller Gond chiefs. See, about the time that is the power of the Delhi Sultans was falling down, it was declining. At the time, a few large Gond kingdoms were starting to dominate the smaller Gond chiefs. Okay, they started to rule over the smaller Gond chiefs. The Akbarnama, a history of Akbar's reign, mentioned and I mentioned the Gond kingdom of Garha Katanga that had 70,000 villages. So the Akbarnama was, it is a history of Akbar's rule. There it mentions that the Gond kingdom of Garha Katanga had 70,000 villages. The administrative system of these kingdoms was becoming centralized. Administrative system of this Gond kingdom, it was becoming centralized. Centralized means concentrate under a single authority was. The kingdom was divided into Gurs. Okay, the kingdom, that means it was divided into Gurs. Okay. Each Gur was controlled by a particular Gond clan. So as it was divided into some areas, okay, which was known as Gur. So each Gur, it was controlled by a particular Gond clan. This was further divided into units of 84 villages called Chaurashi. Chaurashi, it is a Hindi word voice. So you see, this was again further divided into units of 84 villages, which was known as Chaurashi. The Chaurashi was subdivided into Barhots, which were made up of 12 villages each. So you see, this Chaurashi, okay, was again subdivided into Barhots, which were made up of 12 villages each. The emergence of large states changed the nature of Gond society. So in this way, you see, existence of these large states, it changed the nature of Gond society. Their basically equal society gradually got divided into unequal social classes. They basically this equal society, okay, slowly it got divided into unequal social classes. Brahmanas received land grants from the Gond Rajas and became moral influential. So under the system, boys, Brahmanas, they used to receive land grants from the Gond Rajas, okay, from the Gond king, and became more influential here. The Brahmanas became more influential, means having great influence. The Gond chiefs now wished to be recognized as Rajputs. Now they see Gond chiefs, okay, wish to be recognized as Rajput. So Amandas, the Gondraja of Garhakatanga, assumed the title of Sangram Shah. So in this way, boys, Aman Shah, he was the Gondraja of Garhakatanga. He assumed means supposed to be the case, okay. The title of Sangram Shah. His son Dalpat married Princess Durgavati, the daughter of Salvahan, the Chandel Rajput Raja of Mahoba. So, see, his son here, Amandas' son, whose name was Dalpat, he married Princess Durgavati. Durgavati was the daughter of Salvahan, the Chandal Rajput Raja of Mahoba. Dalpat, however, died early. Rani Durgavati was very capable and started ruling on behalf of her 5-year-old son. So Dalpat, however, he died quite early. After the death of Dalpat, Rani Durgavati, okay, wife of, you see this Dalpat, was very capable and started ruling on behalf of her 5-year-old son, Veer Narayan. Okay, the name of her son was Veer Narayan. Under her, the kingdom became even more extensive. So under her rule, that means Durgavati's rule, you see, the kingdom, it became even more extensive, means covering or affecting large area. In 1565, the Mughal forces under Asaf Khan attacked Garhakatanga. So in the year 1565, the Mughal forces under Asaf Khan attacked this Garhakatanga. A strong resistance was put up by Rani Durgavati at the time. A strong resistance. Resistance means the refusal to accept or comply with something, okay, that is called resistance. Was put up by Rani Durgavati. She denied it, okay, she refused it. She was defeated and preferred to die rather than surrender. So what happened? Rani Durgavati, you see, she was defeated, okay, she was having been beaten, and she liked to die, okay, rather than surrender. Her son too died fighting soon after. So her son also, he was also died in fighting soon after Durgavati. Garha Katanga was a rich state. It earned much wealth by trapping and exporting wild elephants to other kingdoms. Garha Katanga was, it was a rich state. Okay, it earned much valuable possession or money by trapping, means catching in a trap and exporting wild elephants to other kingdoms. When the Mughals defeated the Gonds, they captured a huge booty of precious coins and elephants. So when the Mughals defeated these Gonds, they occupied a huge booty of precious coins. Okay, they won this Mughal, they won precious coins and elephants there. Okay, they annexed means add as an extra here, part of the kingdom and granted the rest to Chandra Shah, an uncle of Veer Narayan. Despite the fall of Garha Katanga, the Gond kingdom survived for some time. Okay, even though you see the fall of Garha Katanga took place, the Gond kingdoms, it continued to live or exist okay, for some time. However, they became much weaker and later struggled unsuccessfully against the stronger Bandalas and Marathas. See, however, they became much weaker here and afterward struggled unsuccessfully. They didn't succeed there, okay, against the stronger Bandalas and Marathas. Now let us see another one, that is Ahoms. The Ahoms. The Ahoms migrated to the Brahmaputra Valley from present-day Myanmar in the 13th century. Ahoms boys, they moved from, migrated means move from one region to another, okay, with the season like that, okay. They are those people who has shifted or come from other places. The Ahoms migrated to the Brahmaputra Valley from present-day Myanmar. They came from Myanmar, okay, that is Burma, in the 13th century. The new name of Burma is Myanmar. They created a new state by suppressing the older political system of the Bhuyans. That is, Bhuyans means landlords. Here they created a new state by suppressing. Suppressing means to put down by authority or force the older political system of the Bhuyans. During the 16th century, they annexed the kingdoms of the Chutias in 1523 and of Koch Hajo in 1581 and subjugated many other tribes. So during the 16th century, they add as an extra kingdom of the Chotias and the Koch Hajo and subjugated. Subjugated means bring under control by conquest, okay. Many other tribes. The Ahoms built a large state and for this they used firearms as early as the 1530s. Firearms means was rifles, pistols, etc. Okay. By the 1660s, they could even make high quality gunpowder and cannons. So by the 1660s, first they could even make high quality gunpowder. Gunpowder means an explosive mixture, and cannons means having piece of artillery, okay, artillery. However, the Ahoms faced many invasions from the southwest, okay. However, these Ahoms, they faced many invasions. Invasions means instance of invading, okay, a country or in a region with an armed force. It was from the southwest. In 1662, the Mughals under Mir Jumla attacked the Ahom kingdom. So in the year 1662, Mughals under the leadership of Mir Jumla attacked the Ahom kingdom. Despite their brave defense, the Ahoms were defeated. Okay, despite that means their brave or great defense, the Ahoms were defeated. But direct Mughal control over the region could not last long. But you see, directly Mughal control over that regions, it could not last long. The Ahom state depended upon forced labor. Okay, so it was dependent upon forced labor. Those forced to work for the state were called pikes, and those people who were forced to work for the state were known as pikes. A census of the population was taken. Census means counting the number of people. It was taken place. Okay, Each village had to send a number of pikes by rotation. So each village, okay, had to send a number of pikes by rotation. People from heavily populated areas were shifted to less populated places. People where that means in large amounts of population, where population was maximum, okay, very great number of people were there, that areas were shifted to less populated places. Ahom clans were thus broken up. So in this way, Ahom clans, it was broken up. By the first half of the 17th century, the administration became quite centralized. So by the first half of the 17th century, the administration, it became quite concentrated under a single authority. Almost all adult males served in the army during war. So almost all adults males, they were serving, that means in the army during the war. At other times, they were engaged in building dams, irrigation systems, and other public works. The Ahoms also introduced new methods of rice cultivation. So, apart from that, means the work of, say, army, when they have the work of army at the time of war, they used to do their work. But when they do not, that means the work as an army, they were engaged for other works such as building dams, irrigation systems, and other public works. The Ahoms also introduced new methods of rice cultivation to grow rice. A new method was introduced by these Ahoms. Ahom society was divided into clans or khels. This Ahom society, it was divided into clans or khels. There were very few castes of artisans. So artisans in the Ahom areas came from the adjoining kingdoms. So artisans, that means in the Ahom areas, they came from the adjoining kingdoms, means from other nearby kingdoms. A khel often controlled several villages. The peasant was given land by his village community. So the peasant means a poor smallholder or farmer was given land by his village community. Even the king could not take it away without the community's consent, without the sign of the community. Even the king could not take away that land, okay, which was given to the peasant. Originally, the Ahoms worshipped their own tribal gods. Okay, actually, originally, these Ahoms, they were worshipped their own tribal gods. During the first half of the 17th century, however, the influence of Brahmanas increased. So, during the first half of the 17th century was, however, anyhow, the influence of Brahmanas, it increased. Temples and Brahmanas were granted land by the king. At the time, temples and Brahmanas were granted land by the king. In the reign of Shivsing, Hinduism became the predominant religion. Okay, so at the time of Shivsing ruling, at that period, that is 1714 to 1744, Hinduism, it became the predominant religion. It was the important religion at the time. But the Ahom kings did not completely give up their traditional beliefs after adopting Hinduism. But you see, the Ahom kings, they did not completely give up their traditional beliefs, their traditional way to believe. after adopting Hinduism. Ahom society was very sophisticated, having a great deal, okay, of worldly experience and knowledge, that is called sophisticated. Ahom society, they were having so. Poets and scholars were given land grants. Poets and scholars, they were given land grants as a gift, okay. Theater was encouraged. Important works of Sanskrit were translated into the local language. So important works of Sanskrit, they were translated into local languages. Historical works known as Buranjis were also written first in the Ahom language, Ahom, and then in Assamese. Ahom, it comes from Assamese, they come from Ahom itself, okay. Afterward, in Assamese it was converted. Conclusion of the chapter, let us see. Considerable social change took place in the subcontinent during the period we have been examining. So, remarkable social changes it took place, boys, in the subcontinent, okay, during the period we have been examining, okay. Burna-based society and tribal people constantly interacted with each other. So, Varna-based society, which is based on Varna, Shudra, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, that one, and tribal people, okay, always interacted with each other. They act in such a way as to have an effect on each other, okay. This interaction caused both kinds of societies to adapt and change. So this interaction between these two, okay, it caused both kinds of societies to modify and change. There were many different tribes and they took up diverse livelihoods, okay. There were, you see, many different tribals or tribes, and they took up different livelihoods, okay. Over a period of time, many of them merged with caste-based societies. So as time passes, boys, what happened? Many of them, they combine, okay, to form a single entity, okay. They mixed with Hinduism, with caste-based societies. Others, however, rejected both the caste system and orthodox Hinduism. So however, they rejected both this caste system and orthodox Hinduism, that means belief of a religion, that one. Some tribes established extensive states with well-organized systems of administration. So some tribes established what extensive states. Extensive means covering a large area, states, okay, with well-organized systems of administration. They thus became politically powerful. In this way, they became powerful politically, okay. This brought them into conflict with larger and more complex kingdoms and empires. So this brought them, as they became politically powerful, it brought them into argument, okay, with larger and more complex kingdoms and empires. So here is we find what larger and more complex kingdoms, okay, and empires here existed, okay. So empires means ruled by a monarch, okay. So here's the end of the chapter, boys. Let's stop here for today, all of you. Bye bye.